Hi, my name is Ileana Rojas Bennett. I'm the designer and creator of Maleku jewelry. Today we're going to be working on one of the most beautiful cuffs that Maleku jewelry offers for all of you. Today we're going to be working on a cuff that is made in metal. We're going to show how the patterns that are what stands out on the cuff are created. We always say that Maleku jewelry has unique patterns because they are. First of all, you have to draw the pattern that you want. Like in this case, we have several patterns that I had already drew. And once they are drew, this is going to be transferred to metal and it's going to be etched. And etch is a process that we're not going to show here today, but it's done with acids that eats up the metal, and it will leave only the parts that you did not cover in a special liquid. So as you see here, we have some patterns. We're going to use this pattern today, and we're going to start then a process of making the cuff. We're going to proceed to cut the size of the cuff, and after we cut it, we're going to move to put the pattern on it. In this part of the process, we just have cut a piece of metal that is going to be the size that the cuff is going to be. And as you see, you can have different sizes. You can have this size of width or a smaller one, and it can be a long or it can be a short one like this one. All depends on what the size of the wrist is. So let's go with this one and let's move into annealing. Now annealing, what is annealing? Annealing is to use fire and on metal to make your metal softer, because when we're going to do the pattern and we're going to use the rolling mill, which is the next tool that you're going to see me using, you need to have your metal soft enough that that pattern is going to be able to transfer or print, in other words. So let's anneal this. There. This is going to make your metal soft, but we don't want to melt it. We want just to make it soft. You're gonna start seeing colors because it's gonna be changing colors as it gets softer. It's going to be like a changing of colors on the metal. Once we see these type of colors that you see, that it moves like the flame moves with it, then it's telling me that it's ready, that it's already annealed, that it's soft enough. So we close this well. This is acetylene, by the way. Of course, this is very hot and we don't want to touch it with our hands. We have pickle. Pickle is an acid that has glass in it, and the glass with the metal is gonna clean this metal. It's not gonna let it get dark. There we have cleaned our piece, and we put it in clean water. So the clean water is going to take the acid off, and we are going to then dry it. And when we dry it, this piece of new gold, like we call this, is ready to go to the rolling mill and to have a print on it. So here is the rolling mill where we're going to be working on our next step. And in this section is where we will choose the pattern we want on it. We have paper because it's gonna go through this rolling mill. This is a rolling mill. A rolling mill is 2 rolls of metal where we have grease that keeps it moist so that this type of work can be done. And we'll see what is the product. And as we see here, this has been stamped. Now we have a part that was not stamped. Then we'll have to put it back to roll it here so that the whole piece will be stamped. And here's where I have to use my muscles, because if not, it will not go. Okay, we got the stamping finish. Okay, the next process is going to be to heat it. We're going to put this paper and the pattern away and leave them here. And we're going to move them to heating this. Now, we're not gonna heat it where the pattern is. We're gonna heat it on the back. We need to soften it again because, or anneal it, that's the right word, to anneal it. We have to anneal it because it needs to go through another process in which is where it's gonna become a cuff. So we need to make sure that it's soft enough. And if you see here, we are working it. It's getting dark and it's making a bunch of colors. That's when it's telling me that it's getting ready and soft for me to do the next step. Of course, we're gonna have to clean the metal because it gets so dark. We scale, we call it that scale. Make sure that we close the acetylene well. This is hot and we don't need to touch it. We put it in the pickle again. That's going to clean it. Once we clean it, we put it again in water. The water is going to take away the pickle, which is an acid that contains, again I repeat, glass. The glass with the metal is going to clean it. And as you can see now, it's clean again. Now we're going to start working on how to shape this into a cuff. This part is a little bit more tricky and difficult. We have molds that we use, okay? And this is the shape that I'm going to use. I'm gonna try with my fingers to give it a shape. And we need to try to get it in here, okay? Once we get it in here, this part has to fit in there. And that's the part that takes, to a beginner, in jewelry a little bit of work. Once we have that, we're going to use this metal and we're going to move to our magical piece of equipment, which is called the Boonie Dome. It's a pressure machine that it goes to 500 to 10,000 horsepower. So here we go. We have to keep this down because that's part of the caution. We have to protect our eyes. And we're gonna start pressing. Okay, there we have it. We're gonna get it to 2,000. Okay, and we're gonna release this. Okay, we're going to go again and do this one more time. Horsepower. We release. We're gonna let it release all the way down and we're gonna see if the cuff came out correct or if we have to do any changes. Okay, I'm gonna remove this part. It seems like we did a good job. We did an excellent job. It came out perfect. Now, to achieve the color gold again, I'm going to use a mixture of 2 chemicals. These 2 chemicals are going to be put here. Bit of the glass chemical. We're gonna move it. And in a little bit, you're gonna start seeing the change that is going to go from that rose color to the gold color that we had before. And it won't take that long to start looking at it. We're going just to leave it there a few minutes and we'll come back to check on it. Okay, as we were talking before, here is where our cuff is almost gold back again. We can see it inside and outside. It's already taken the color that it's supposed to be. Still has some pinkish in this area, but we're going to leave it some few minutes. But we have one that is ready that we're going to then finish with that one and leave this one then in the acid. And we have this one that has been already finished. And we're going to just shape the edges so that the person that is going to wear it is not going to have any problem with the metal edges. And when you do this, you have to do it in this way, like you're making a semicircle. Okay. Okay. And we're ready to wear it. I think it's just perfect. So now you have one of the Chorotega cuffs ready to wear.
Awesome.